What is something that has gone positive for you? Jennifer Browning, I see your hand up. Go ahead.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. I have someone who is looking at a commercial property that wanted to get in touch with me that we can talk.
I love that. I love that.
Um,
You got a
yeah,
plan
I was
around
at
it?
MTAR training today for 8 or 7 hours and got some good information from there. I just feel the more I work with different people, the more that I'm learning, and it helps put things together for me, more of a process.
Good.
So
Love that. You have to be learning based in order for this thing to work. So yes, 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 yes. Congratulations.
not done
It'll,
yet.
it'll happen. Manifest. Who else? Who else has a win? Who has a challenge?
I'll
Who
go back.
has?
I'll go back to the wins. So, been getting my hair cut by the same person for a number of years, and never really had a conversation with her about from a family perspective, or certainly a living arrangement perspective. And got a chance to have a conversation today, and it just kind of came up, and hopefully going to be able to work with her this summer to find her first home.
That's what I'm talking about. And how did that happen?
Just kind of organically, you're in the chair for a little bit, and we just got talking, and she mentioned something about a landlord, and I asked her if she ever considered ownership, and she said, I just changed jobs into this role, and I don't know if I can get approved. So I actually put her in touch with the lending collective in our office there in Franklin, and said, well, let's talk to him and find out exactly where you are based on the facts instead of, kind of what you think, and let's see where you're at. And what the timing might look like and what you can afford, and we can kind of go from there. So get her thinking about the financial side of it, and then we can talk about where she can go.
That's great work, sir. Great work. All right. Any other wins, any other challenges that we can get on with before I get into the material? Anything up in the chat that I'm missing? All right. Nothing in the chat. Met this person, and then we're going to get into it. I need one person to remind me where we left off last night from your memory.
So the average entry-level job is $55,000 a year, while AI only costs between 1,000 to
Okay. Some dual learning going on. Appreciate that. All right. So I'll tell you where we left off yesterday. We had just talked about getting ready for the open house. Now we are at the point of hosting the open house. We've got our flags out, we've got our messaging out, we've got everything going on so that everybody in the world knows that this house is open and available to be seen by the public. All right? So really quickly, I just want to go back to where we started a little bit yesterday is when we get to this part, by a show of hands, whether virtually or on screen, who is afraid or maybe nervous about this part of it, actually hosting the open house?
I'll say yes, but I better not be too nervous about it since I have to do it Saturday.
Well, you're getting prepared right now for it. All right,
I am.
so I see a bunch of hands, and I respect that because I remember the first time I was sent out to do an open house. But what I knew is that I know people and I am a person, and all I need to do is be able to relate to the people and know enough about the house or be able to find the answer for said folks asking the question, right? So that's what I want to make sure you guys understand. It's always going to come back to the mindset. And our mindset around this has to be, I know the property and I know people and I want to help people. Fair? Fair enough?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you. All right. So we can use the property visualizer pro prompt from the AI playbook. When someone has a question like, how old is the water heater? Right? We can snap a pic and upload it to AI and act as a construction technical expert in a residential housing and construction. A prompt might sound something like this. Act as a construction technical expert with AI. I'm sorry, act as a construction technical expert in residential housing and construction. You have deep knowledge in identifying and dating home appliances. For example, HVAC systems, water heaters, stoves, washers, dryers by serial numbers, manufacturer traits, or visual clues. You also understand home construction materials, structural components, and code compliance indicators across decades. Your goal is to help real estate agents educate buyers on the history, quality, and condition of a property based on visual elements and appliance models. Offer insights that highlight potential repair needs, energy efficiency ratings, or vintage charm, and translate technical details into plain English for home buyers. See what we're doing there? You might take something like Gemini, right? Using your phone and put that prompt in, and then take a picture, or actually do it the opposite way. Take a picture, put the prompt in, and upload the picture using that prompt. It works, right? So now, back from when I was doing open houses at a high clip, when I had to say, okay, I'll get back to you, and I had to reach out to the homeowner to get that information, you guys can get that right there in the moment using your AI. Questions about that?
For any typical AI platform you're using, I know not all of them are like geared towards probably photos and then picking all that information out of it. Like ChatGPT and some of them are probably less geared towards it. Is there anyone that you typically like?
I would go with either a chat or a Gemini.
Yeah, okay.
Gemini
Curious.
Gemini has, come leaps and bounds. Another one would be Claude. Claude is also
Yeah.
created some truly phenomenal results. I actually use it for most of the writing I do, but I've realized that it's caught up on the other side as well. So yeah, great question.
Good, thanks.
All right, it's day 6. Folks, this is the fun part. I'm going to need 2 volunteers.
Good. I did one.
James, you're one?
Yes, sir.
All right, it's me and you in the first one, and then I'm going to get the next person up to go next. You're going to be in the bold. I'm going to be in the not so bold. In the response, I should say. All right,
Okay.
go for it.
Welcome in. I'm James Robinson. What brings you in by today?
I'm just looking.
We typically find that people come to open houses to either look for a home of their own or find a value of their house. Do you live near?
Uh, yeah, I live not too far away.
Well, feel free to take a look around and let me know if you have any questions. Would you like to hear about the house's highlights before you get started?
Yeah, I think that would be great.
Thanks so much for stopping by, Floyd. Have you been out looking for homes for a while, or are you just starting to start the search process?
I'm just starting the search process. So, like, I'm sorry, I should give you a better cue. In that part where I said, yeah, I'd like to hear more about the house before I got started. you give me some rundowns around the square footage, the bedrooms,
Bedrooms, basement,
right,
finished basement, not finished basement.
any of the highlights that the seller is looking to really showcase, right?
Okay.
All right,
Would you like to hear
James.
more about the house highlights before you get started?
Yes, I think I would. What's special about this place?
Well, listen, Floyd, everything's been done for the most part. All the mechanicals, HVAC systems, brand new roof with the, I'm sorry, HVAC, heating, electric. It's been replaced last year in 2025. The roof will be replaced in 2023. The basement is fully finished, renovated. You still have space for storage. It comes with a 2 year, a 5 year home warranty for the buyer. And those are the main highlights. Three, of course, it's a 4 bedroom, 2.5 baths. Again, with the finished basement. So those are the main features. You shouldn't have much to do with the mechanical, the main stuff. The windows are energy efficient. They were replaced within the last 5 years. So, but the major things that could maybe dissuade you from purchasing the home is covered, and then you had the warranty as well for 5 years still.
All right, thank you. I really appreciate that, James. I'll let you know what my thoughts are when I'm done.
Sounds great, Floyd. Take your time. I'm here. I'm here to have questions when you get back.
All right, perfect. Break script. How'd you feel about that, James?
I felt fine. It's good to engage the people when they come in. When I've done open houses that I've done, but I like to give them space. I do the same initial questions. It's very easy. Listen, you're standing there. Normally, they're walking into your property, into your area. So it's easy to ask questions and have a easy dialogue, so you don't feel like I'm trying to sell them the house because I just trying to educate them on the house and but let it go, take a look around and freelance, and then come back to me for questions and follow up and get some type of feedback at the end. So it's not off putting to me at all.
Okay, great job. And the more that we practice this, folks, the easier it becomes, right? And it just becomes second nature. Yes, yes, and yes. All right. I'm sorry. One more person. We want to run that back one more time. One more person.
I'll do it, Floyd. So do it this
Uh,
weekend.
all right, Dean. Here we go.
Welcome in, Floyd, or welcome in. I'm Dean Smith, agent with Keller Williams. What brings you by today?
Dean, me and my wife are looking at downsides. We have a property out west, and we've been looking at this area for quite some time, and this kind of fit the bill. Uh, yeah, we just want to see what's going on. We got a hotel, and we're going to see a bunch of houses this weekend.
That's great, and it's exciting to relocate. I just relocated into this area not long ago, and find it to be just an outstanding area, really close to schools and restaurants and shopping. So I think you'll really like this area. Let me. What are some of the things that you're looking at for a house? And is there anything I can answer about this house before you take a look around?
So, we need something like this where it's, single floor living. We also need to make certain that, our neighbors are close, but not too close. That's this one's kind of makes sense for us. And, just want to make certain that, like you said, we want to be close to things and not have to drive really far for groceries and other things like that.
Awesome. Yeah, I think this house will fit the bill for you. It's got a number of recent upgrades. I think you'll see. The master bedroom has had hardwood flooring put in. Also in the upstairs, they've taken all the carpet and replaced it with LVP as well. We've done one of the bathrooms and put in new fixtures in there. So you'll see a lot of the upgrades as you go through, and I think it'll really fit. So if you want to take a look around, I'm here to answer questions whenever you get done. And I hope you're finding what you're seeing or liking what you're seeing.
Okay. Are you the listing agent?
I'm not the listing agent. I'm just holding it open for that listing agent today. There may be some questions that I won't be able to answer for you right away. And if I can't, and if I don't know that about the house, I will certainly make sure that I can follow up with you, with the agent, and get you the answers that you need.
Oh, just because I thought that we went with the listing agent, we'd get a better deal. Is that true?
That's not true. And let me ask you this: You're out looking by yourself. Are you working with a realtor yet? Just coming
No,
into the
no.
area?
We just thought we'd come in and check it out and then figure that part out at the end.
Well, I would love to talk to you about that as well. And if I'm able to represent you, then we can talk about pricing and and be able to find a way to negotiate with that listing agent.
Okay, sounds good. You seem like a nice guy. We're gonna look through the house. We'll get back to you.
Okay.
Break script. What did you like about that, Dean?
Yeah, I think I probably should have jumped in and asked that question as I think about it and critique myself. I should have asked them about working with a realtor sooner, especially when you mentioned that you were just coming into the area and moving from the west. That was a door that opened that I probably didn't jump through as quickly as I could. Sometimes you jump in too quickly, then that can be off-putting as well. So I don't know there's a perfect time, but that might have been a better time. I'm glad I remembered to come back to it.
I kind of like where you put it. I'll be honest with you. It was
Okay.
it felt good in the conversation. Any earlier would have felt like you were being a little predatory, right? So I really
Yeah.
like the way that you handled that. The one thing that I would tell you though, and I set you up for this one, and I want everybody to hear this, is that when somebody asks that question about, hey, I heard that I get a better deal working with the listing agent. That's a great opportunity to share your value, right? And it's a rapport builders opportunity as well. And what I mean by that is, Dean, if it was reversed and I was saying to you, I'd say, Dean, I've heard that misunderstanding as well, and it's truly a misconception because you know although it is possible that you can work with the listing agent because that's that person practicing dual agency. I would really like to see you have your own representation and somebody that hasn't already decided to work in the best interest of the seller who is trying to get the top dollar. Whereas when I work for you, I'm trying to get it at the best price for you.
Yeah, great feedback. I appreciate
Right.
that.
I mean, it was put there for that reason, Dean. So I could say that in front of everybody. If you would have got it, then I would have given you all praise and we would have ended the call because we're done. Right.
All
But
right,
yeah,
all right.
absolutely. Any other folks critique or questions around this?
I have a question.
Please.
So I thought it was good that you actually just said that you thought you would get a better deal if you worked directly with the listing agent. Sometimes I think that's what people think, but I'm not sure that they're saying it. How would you kind of address that, or would you just not bother to bring it up if they don't say it, you don't say anything, kind of thing?
Well, it's going to come out in the conversation when like Dean said, are you working with an agent? Right? That
Mhm.
conversation is going to happen. Um, yeah. And when that conversation ends up being it'll roll just like I just kind of we just played it out where, hey, are you working with an agent? No, we were hoping to work with the listing agent because, or uh, they're going to ask some way, some fashion, can you represent us? Right? Or they have a realtor, right? Or
Mhm.
they say something crazy like, no, we're not using representation, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Good question, Cass. Any others?
Yeah,
Any others?
I would just say, Floyd, it's absolutely something that people try to leverage. Frankly, I've leveraged it myself when I've gone into an open house and not had an agent representing me at that point in time and try to leverage it to, say, you know, you get both sides of the commission and you reduce the commission, and by having both sides, is there a better price that comes from that, right? So, I mean, it's absolutely a fact. and we have to be able to combat that, as you said, with the value proposition that we bring as buyer reps.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, end of the day, we want to make certain we're doing what's best for the client. It's really hard to do that on both ends, right? Unless we have a pure win-win. All right. Good job, folks.
Mr. Floyd, I got a quick question.
Yes, Marquisha. See what I did there?
So
Wait, hold on. Do I get props?
yeah, you said it correct.
All right.
I had a situation today where I had a conversation with I was going to see someone today and they, we met and they was like, "Oh, I'm coming from Chicago. I'm trying to get some land." And I already have multiple properties in Chicago, so I'm just trying to get some land and some properties and stuff here. What I didn't really know what to say. What you would have said on that?
All right, we're gonna role play it. You ready? I'm gonna be you. You're gonna be the potential client.
Oh, I already did my role play today. I didn't know what to say. I just
No. I'm gonna give it to you like I would give it. Like I would say, if this happened
that's
to me.
what I'm saying. I'm inexperienced. I don't really want to. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to say this right now because I don't even like. I just told her, oh, okay, and I got all her information. I have first name, last name,
Okay.
date of birth, social, all that. I got all the information. I got
Got the social?
yeah, I got all the.
Well, then you already sold the property. Just go find the property and give it to them because if they're giving you a social, right?
That's
You
what I'm saying. I
probably-
don't know where to begin. I don't know. That's what I'm
okay.
saying. I'm
So this is
out.
what I would say. This is what I would say. If Marquisha, if you were the person calling me and saying, "Hey, I'm looking for land out your way," I'd say, "Okay, what's important about buying or getting land for this area?" And they're going to tell you, "Okay, great. What are your plans for the land?" Because I want to make certain that when I find that property, that it's zoned appropriately for what your needs are. Right? How much land do you need? Does it need to be in a rural setting or does it need to be near highway access? Right? I just want to know everything I need to know to do my search inside of my MLS. Or if I'm putting it out to my market center to ask those folks if they have anything coming up. Right? You want to get as specific about what they're asking for as possible.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
because we had like a long conversation. She basically is coming down here. Her father's getting older. They want to get some land. Chicago is getting kind of ruthless up there, so they want a calm, peace, quiet, nice, convenient area. And she was just explaining to me, stuff that's going on in Chicago and stuff like that. So I'm just trying to keep this lead. It's like a big deal to me right now because she's like adamant about it, and it seems like she's ready to get started with the process because, like I said, she's already gave me the information. So I just don't know where this goes in the training and what I need to do.
Right. So, Mark Richard, let me ask you this question. Are you working with a productivity coach in your market center?
I am, um, but I don't know. Like I told you, I thought real estate was a little bit different than what I'm being trained on. I thought it was gonna be more simplistic and
Well, let me help you and anybody that thinks like that. This very well may be, and most times will be, the largest purchase someone makes in their lifetime. There's nothing simple about it.
yes. Okay, yeah. So get what you said, my marketing coach or something.
Your productivity coach.
Okay.
Reach out to your productivity coach. They will guide you through this and make certain that the deal gets done and you get paid. Right? Because what I heard you say is that you don't want to lose this lead and no one wants to see you lose.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. Yes.
Yep. All right. Guys, more questions around the day of. Nobody? Nobody. All All right. So here we go. Uh, Here's some of the follow-ups that you can say when the person comes in, and you kind of about. Feel free to take a look around. If you have any questions about the home or the neighborhood, I'm happy to help. Are you currently working with an agent? Dean, nice job. It's right there, just like you said it would be. Are you selling your current home in order to buy this one? Why is that important?
Your tendency may lose you a deal that the seller doesn't want to wait on you if you're going to buy on the other end, or
Okay.
not be able to sell sell in a quick enough time to get out of the house and purchase a new house. That's the
You know what, James, you're right. And if we look at the positive end of this, you may have just walked into a listing opportunity. If they've walked in unrepresented to this, there's a likelihood that they are unrepresented in the selling of their home, right? As somebody who's witnessed it and benefited from it, I can tell you it happens. What are you looking for in a home? Why is that an important question?
So then that way you can get a better understanding of what they're actually like looking for. I imagine too, like obviously at the open house, you're still trying to build that opportunity to, I guess gain a potential client. But I guess what's going through in my head is like if I'm able to sort of cover that ground ahead of time before I enter an agreement, if I'm getting in that direction, um, that could kind of go ahead and already kind of put me in a better position. On top of that, too, the open house that you're currently showing, you never know. Maybe that's something that they could be interested in. And then at that point, since you're hosting the open house for another listing agent, that could be a way to just go ahead, get like in my mind at least, go ahead and get under contract with the person if they don't have an agent, and then just go ahead and work the current transaction that you're already under, if that makes sense. Like, I know I said that a little weirdly, but
All right, so let me make sure I'm hearing you correctly. So you're saying you have the intention on trying to sell the property that you're hosting?
not the intention of selling it directly, because obviously, if you're hosting an open house, you're not the actual listing agent. I guess more so what I mean is, you use the open house as a way to leverage those connections. And like, if someone is going to buy a house and you're not the listing agent of the current house that you're showing, they're essentially, in a way, kind of going through you, if that makes sense.
Okay, so I'm going to say yes. And then I'm going to go with Dominique, who is doubling down on what you're saying, basically that although although only one person is going to purchase the house that we're currently standing in, if that's not you, I'd like to be the person that's staying in the house that you purchase with you.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Can you say it one more time?
Although only one person is going to buy the house that we're currently standing in, I'd like to be the person sitting next to you when you purchase the property with you.
Got it. Got it. Got it.
Meaning we may not come to terms on this property here, but there's others that I can show you that we could possibly get under that may even be a better fit for you,
Right. Right.
right? Yep. I think we're on the same page.
Definitely. And if I may add one more thing, I guess like depending on the different open houses that you've hosted, that's also probably a way to, leverage knowledge on those particular areas, on those particular houses. And then when people give you those responses, and if they are actually currently actively looking for that, you could be like, oh, well, one time I did an open house over here at such and such, or, I had the pleasure of being over here at such and such. Maybe there's a way that I could get you into those and kind of show, kind of get you in a place that you're looking for, if that makes sense.
Jonas, the only thing I would do is take all the kindas and the maybes out.
Got it.
You understand what I'm saying? I want you to speak with confidence, and some certainty, right? Because those are things that you know that you can do.
Right.
Yep, yep, yep. Good job. Next question is this the area you're hoping to buy in? Why is that an important question?
I always want to know where your client desires to live.
That's right. Because the answer back to that could be yes, or anywhere in the next 25 minutes radius, or the next 5 mile radius, right? And that changes the way that we search for properties for that person, right? It changes the way that we send them things in their search, gives us a better understanding. If they say they need to be attached to a certain elementary school, we know what the boundaries look like on that, right? So that helps us in our job and making certain that we're giving the client what they're asking for. And then number 6, how did you hear about our open house? Why is this an important question?
Tells you where your market is going to. Did they see it because you had 40 signs out there? Did you see it because it was on social media? I've never
How
heard
are
of
you
20 to
reaching
40
people?
thinking completely different, like I'm gonna bombard my area so everybody knows. But that's the first time I've heard of that. It was an aha moment for me yesterday.
I love that because that's going to give you your feedback on when you decide to host the other 4 open houses this month on what I need to really pour into and put my energy into, because that's what works. If 12 people in a row say, yeah, I stopped by because you had 40 signs outside, guess what's happening next weekend,
50.
right?
I'm putting 60, right?
Exactly right, right? Because I want to get as many people into the property. If nobody says that, they say, oh, yeah, we saw a social media post. How many social media posts am I putting out? With how many different graphics? How many different,
Being
right?
new, every person wants you to join this organization or do this ad, and you can pour a lot of money into all this stuff that isn't effective. And I really want to find out what are most effective ways that make a difference before I keep going all these different directions that really aren't helping me.
And that's going to be different for different segments and
Everyone,
different markets, right?
everyone.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. All right. Any questions, any aha so far? I can't be this good. I'm not this good. I know that I'm
I
not.
did have one aha.
There we go.
In the beginning of the conversation, um, I think it was you and Dean when y'all were doing the role play, but to have contacts on hand to share when whenever you are having an open house, like I wouldn't think to now I will, thankfully for this, but just to have that on hand because that's true. If someone needs a lender or some other source to help them get through the deal or to become that person's for that person to become the client, you want to be able to have everything in place you need. So you're not like, let me get that. I mean, obviously if you have to get back to them, that's okay too, but it's always good to just be prepared. So that was one thing that I picked up.
I love that. I'm glad that you picked up on that because I want to be the center point. I want to be the quarterback of the entire thing, right? I want people to continue to have to come to me and check with me to move forward, right? Yeah, yeah. Okay. Anyone else? I have not said your name yet, so I'm going to try right now. Tyrona.
Ding, ding, ding. You got it.
Oh yeah, I do have another question. So
Marquisha.
with the open house, I just need to know when you're hosting an open house, how many people does it take? How many agents need to be on the scene? Just you, or you and another agent, or you and the productivity
So
coach?
that's a good question, right? And I'm going to say it depends. If it's a 2-bedroom condo, it's probably going to be you, right? If it's a 5,500 square foot property with 12 acres and a couple of outbuildings, yeah, we're probably going to have 2, 3, maybe even 4 people on site so that we're answering all the questions in the space that people are in, and we're making certain that we're keeping an eye on who's coming and going inside the house and be able to answer questions, right? So that's a loaded question, Marquisha, and I would say it depends on the property. It depends also on the seller and what they say. The seller says, "I want somebody." We had this happen recently on a $2 million property here in town where they said, "Okay, you can have your open house, but we want one representative from your brokerage on each floor, right?
Mm-hmm.
The basement, the first floor, the second floor, the third floor. We want people on those spaces. So it it depends, right?
And then like, what's the process? Is there like what's the paperwork process to do an open house? Is there some type of formal documentation that we have to,
So
you know?
outside of the sign-in sheet, that's from what I've seen. It may be different in your market center. And once again, go back to that productivity coach and ask them that question. But typically, it's the sign-in sheet and permission from the listing agent to host.
Okay.
Yep, good question.
And then you said they usually last about an hour, 2 hours.
2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours depends on the property, right?
And you can have like, so like if I'm open house, I can like say come to the open house located on such and such. Can you have like giveaways and stuff like that, or
Yes, you
can you
can.
have like martinis? Like what can you do?
I would not do alcohol. I would not do alcohol. It's too much reliability. But you can do giveaways. You can do refreshments, right? Whether that's cookies or non-gluten-free snacks or punch or I try to stay away from any type of liquid other than water because when the kids come in and the parents go, "Hey, take this," and next thing you know, you've got orange juice on the floor of a nice new carpet, right? So I try to stick with water, right, as far as refreshments. Yeah.
Now, who provide those? Do we get like swag bucks for being
No,
like?
no. That's on you. That's on you. That's the cost of doing business, right? Because you think about, I want you to think about it like this. That's an investment. If I buy a case of water that costs how much at Walmart? $4, and I get snacks, and let's say I spend $20 total on all the snacks and refreshments, and I get a couple buyers out of this, and we do two deals, and I've made thousands of dollars. Is it worth it?
Yeah.
It's an investment. It's an investment.
Okay.
You got it, James.
Yes, I was going to say, just going back to Marquisha's question about what paperwork. One thing a couple of things I thought about was having this. I displayed the CIS, Consumer Information Statement. I have it displayed as well as the attention to prospective notices, but particularly with the NAR settlement, just to tell them that, hey, you represent. It's a statement. It's a letter. My broker tells us to do a letter. It's called the attention to prospective buyers notice that tells them that I represent the seller in this transaction, per se, if I'm representing the seller. And then the third thing is you probably would always have a copy of your digital license, because you may get audited as well. You never know if the auditor comes through the open house. So those are three things I thought of about
Put
in
that in
terms of
chat.
documentation.
So I'm gonna just say reach out to your brokerage around that because that may not be true for everyone, right? So Marquisha, if you just reach out to your productivity coach or broker, they'll tell you exactly what you need to have available on site. Fair?
Yes. If I get a chance, yes, I will.
Please do. Jennifer Browning, go ahead.
Lloyd, I was told today that some people often bring their lenders to
Yes.
open house. Have you ever done that?
Yes. And we talked about that a little bit last night, right? When you
Yep.
host with a lender, you have that person there that can talk to parts of the transaction that maybe it's not your lane, meaning they're going to talk about rates, they're going to talk about bridge loans, they're going to talk about all the things that they provide as far as on the mortgage or lending side of it. Because the first thing that we're typically going to ask folks is, have you gotten pre-approved or
Pre-approved.
have you spoken to a lender yet? right? So if we can uh, shorten that bridge, right? No pun intended. Um, why not? And oftentimes they'll split the cost with you. So going back to uh, the question earlier from Marquisha, it was who pays for this? You know, oftentimes you can have a lender sponsor it, right? You guys go half and half on it, and have all those things provided. So yes, I do like having lenders there from time to time, especially in a larger property. You know,
I think open houses are a better idea. I think you have more traffic that's coming in that really wasn't thinking as much, but happened to see the signs or popped in and really don't have that pre-approval that might be a real asset in an open house where if they aren't there, that you have an introduction to your lender, to yourself. I mean, that's a big opportunity.
yeah, and you represent yourself as a team, right? And people like to see a team at work more so than just one person flying solo. So yes, answer that question. All right, I'm going to move on. That's all right. All right. So when we talk about that open house greeting, it should be friendly and low pressure, right? When we went through the those role plays, they were very low pressure. We're looking to build a rapport, right? And it happens fairly quickly. It's just, you know, eye contact, firm handshake if you so choose to do so, and you're not lingering. And as the kids say, you're not cringe, right? Open up a casual but useful conversation. So how the weather is doing and things like that, that's not so useful. Everybody can see what the weather's doing, but more along the lines of what brought you here, right? Be respectful and informative. If somebody doesn't know something, do not be condescending. Share with them information that they don't know. Be an educator. Offer space for exploration of the home while remaining engaged and available through body language and tone. Something that you might do is open your body up, meaning turn your shoulder back, allowing someone to know that they can go into the house. When you stay squared up, you look more like a guard at Buckingham Palace than you do a host inviting somebody into a house. So using your body language and your words to say, hey, please take a look, right? You want to respect the visitor's comfort zone. You don't want to be standing 1 foot away from somebody while they're trying to check out this house. Understand what a bubble zone may be for somebody that you really care about, maybe 1 foot. Somebody that you know and that you're intimate with is 1 foot. Somebody that you don't know may be arm's length away, right? If not farther, right? So give them that comfort zone. Open the door to conversation without pressure, right? It's not going to be, hey, do you need to buy this house tomorrow? It's going to be more along the lines of, what's the optimal time frame for you to purchase a home? Gather information while staying professional and warm. Most times people are going to talk. You set the line out, and they talk and talk and talk, and they tell you things that you wouldn't expect them to tell you. And not all of it's useful, but it's but for them it's important. And then stay off your phone to appear interested in visitors. I can assure you that, and I've done it, right? Because I have a deal that's going on. It's going crazy. I didn't think that was going to be going over the weekend, and I thought everything was settled on Friday. But now here I am on a Sunday, going back and forth with another agent about a deal that I got going on, and I want to make certain that that doesn't fall apart. But meanwhile, every opportunity that's sitting in front of me is going by the wayside. So be respectful of that, right? Because if you look like you're uninterested, they're going to be uninterested in you. Questions about any of that? Althea, you're on mute, my friend. You're on mute.
I'm sorry. Good evening, everyone. So you're saying when there's an open house, you let the the people who are coming in for the open house just wander around the property by themselves, or do you accompany go with them? Because you have to protect your client's property, so it's best to have at least two people at an open house.
It is, yes, yes, and yes, but you're not going to hover, right?
No.
So you're going to have you're going to have your clients or the homeowners remove all valuables, right? Remove or lock up all valuables, right? Anything they wouldn't want to see missing, right? Any valuables, any prescription medication, anything that someone may be coming to a home to look for to take,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then, yeah, the idea is for them to be able to walk through the home.
Well,
Okay.
Dr. Ford or Mr. Ford, I think what she's trying to say is like we're valuable too. Like, you know, we're gonna be
Yeah,
okay.
for you.
Somebody could throw us in a closet, throw us in the steps, you know what I'm saying? Like we
So
won't know our security. We gonna know, you know, are y'all gonna have security cameras around? Are you gonna, you know, do we need to tell the neighbors, hey, I'm over here to the house, look, if I don't come back in an hour, like do we, you know, the buddy system. That's what I think her question.
that was something we addressed last night when we talked about that. So we talked a little bit more about the idea of having a buddy system, letting folks in your brokerage know where you are, letting your loved ones know where you are. And if
Mm.
you don't feel safe, don't do the open house. If you feel like you just need a little bit more of a protective force or surrounding or environment, you can let the local police department know that you're hosting an open house, right? So yeah, and you're always going to put yourself in a position, and this is why I feel what I'm trying to say, and I haven't said, I guess, is that yeah, I'm not going to walk around every guest that comes to the property because I want to be able to get between myself and the door as quickly as possible. If I walk up into a bedroom, more people come into the house, I don't see who's there. That could be a real problem, right? So the valuables and the things of the house that are going on in the house are nearly as important as your life. There's not a house that's been built in the history of time that's worth your life, right? So yes, yes, and yes.
Thank you.
You got it. Any other questions? Jonas, Century Lock does value, I'm sorry, vary per state.
What is that?
Century
What is Century Lock?
Century Lock is what we use in Tennessee. Um, and the reason I asked that is because it has like a defaulted like emergency thing. So like essentially what it is, like for example, if I were to go to an open house right now and I were to unlock the lockbox, when I press the lockbox like directly, it'll like connect to my phone and it'll connect to the app on there. And what it does is it sets up this like connection link. And within a certain period of time, if you don't go in and like punch in like this pin or whatever, it'll like alert like your nearest contacts because it's what it is like an agent alert system. And so it'll give you like a certain amount of time to enter a pin in to disarm it. But if it's not disarmed within that period of time, it'll automatically like send out like an alert to like your emergency contacts or whatever. So I didn't know if that was something else that everybody else used, but that's what we have, and I thought that was a pretty neat system. So.
So yeah, I'll have you guys go back to your broker or your team leader or your productivity coach and ask about those things because those do get handled at the market center level. So yes, but let's remain as safe as humanly possible.
Yeah,
Fair?
because I
Hey,
watch a
Floyd.
lot of those
Oh,
crime shows, and it'd be a lot of real estate agents and targeted to open houses.
And you're right, Marquisha. We have to remain safe and do everything in our ability to remain safe. So buddy system, brokerage, right? We have an agent here who's her husband will sit in the car the entire time. The entire time.
hey, Floyd. Cool question. In order to do an open house, would you have to get permission from the seller, right? Just to double check.
Yes, the listing agent would get permission from the seller. Yes, because they have to be
Okay.
out of
All right.
they typically are out of the house during that time.
Okay, all right. And then you discuss with the seller what time frames you want to do the open house, correct?
Correct. And so when I do open houses, I'll tell them I'll be there a half an hour prior to it starting. I'm sorry, I'll be inside the house a half an hour prior to it starting. Prior to that, I'll either be putting out signs or talking to the neighbors, but I'll be in the house a half an hour before it starts. If you'd like to meet me there to say hi and goodbye, that works as well. And then give me about a half an hour after it closes, because there's always going to be one person that not always, but there's a good chance that there will be someone that's looking around and that just got there 2 minutes before the close of it, right? So just give me half an hour to get cleaned up and put the house back to how I found it or better. All right. There we go. Can somebody read those for me? 1 through 10.
Day 6, host the open house safely. Tell someone what you're doing. Have a means of communication. Keep your belongings in the car. Require sign-ins. Greet all guests and do a gut check. Turn the lights on. Meet the neighbors. Stay aware. Park in a safe spot. Have someone meet you to close down.
All right, so let's just go through those really quickly because I think we just had a nice little conversation around all those things, right? I think most of those are pretty self-explanatory. Um, Greet all guests and do a gut check. If something doesn't feel right, it's not right. It's not right for you, right? So whatever your proactive measures are, start to move towards that. If your proactive measure is getting outside the door and running, start moving towards the door. If your proactive measure is to call a loved one or someone that's nearby, start dialing, right? Use your gut to be proactive. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Have someone meet you to close down. Oftentimes, when I did an open house by myself, once I was closing down, the first thing I would do is go to the front door and lock it. Go to the back door and lock it. And then I would go upstairs and turn the lights off. I'd go down in the basement, turn that light off, or any other lights or anything the way I was leaving the house better than I found it. What you could do instead of doing that is call someone and say, hey, we're about to close up here. Can you be here while I do that?
Floyd,
Just
can I say something? This is Pam Griner. That's one of the good things that you everything that you said is really good, but go to the front door and lock it. It seems in the open houses that I've done, it seems like people like to show up at the last minute.
they
So
do.
yeah, lock the door.
They do. And
Mhm.
as you're closing up, that's when that person is, walking through the door versus ringing the doorbell when it's not if the door is not locked. Right? So that's why I would go to the front door and lock it, and then I go to the back door and lock it because people have some level of gall that they'll walk around the back of the house and walk in the house, right? Because it's an open house. So I lock the front door, lock the back door, any other points of entry, and then I go upstairs and turn off if there's an upstairs, right? And shut off lights and everything else that I need to do to make certain that the house is left back to the sellers as they would want it to be. In a vacant house, same thing, right? And actually, let me say this, and this is very important. Prior to uh, me locking the door, I'm checking my sign-in sheet to make certain that if 8 people came in, 8 people left, right? I want to make certain that everybody's out of the house before I lock myself into the house with them. Is that helpful?
Floyd,
Okay.
can I ask another question? This is Pam again. I
Ma'am,
know
yes,
two
all the
years
questions you
ago.
want.
Oh, sure. Thank you. I know 2 years ago when I went to, actually, before I became an agent, I went to an open house. And when I came in, the agent wanted driver's license to collect, the driver's license to write down information. Is that illegal to do or? because she wanted to identify who was coming in.
I think that's perfectly okay, right? I don't know that I'm writing down or taking. I'm not copying it. But if you say
Right.
your name, if you say your name is Pamela Griner, and you show me an ID with Dexter Ralph on it,
Of course. Yeah, the red flag.
that's a huge red flag, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I just want to
Mhm.
know. I want to know who's coming in. So yeah, that may be another level of just a safety
Okay.
measure.
Yeah, I can tell you that I've done it. We've got a few rental properties and we've done open houses for rental properties when they've been vacant. We've done that. So it is a good practice to do.
And it's also a deterrent, right? If
Yeah,
I
for
if I
sure.
know where you live, and right, it's going to make it a lot easier for me to file the police report if anything happens. Yes, yes, and yes.
Yeah, the only thing you got to think about is if they say, well, I don't have my wallet with me, I wasn't planning on that, right? I mean, how hardline do you go with it? Do you not let them tour if they don't have a license? I mean,
Does anybody else in your party have a license?
yeah.
No, I came by myself. You know what? We're going to be hosting another open house tomorrow. Or here's actually what I can do. I can meet you tomorrow and give you a private showing,
Yeah, that's a good one. Mhm.
right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. How do we follow up and win clients? I'm going to need four separate people to read four separate tips.
I can read one. Follow-up tips. Number one, if attendees were not automatically added to your database through your registration sheet, add them and make notes on which open house they attended.
Why is that important, folks?
Because if you won't remember who you met at an open house if you don't have their name or what neighborhood you were in or where you met them from, it's easy to confuse people and you don't want to do that out of respect to them. I remember you from the open house. I'm just following up. Thank you for coming. But looking like you're not prepared or confusing them does not make you look very professional.
If you had 30 couples or 30 parties through an open house, right? It's going to be very hard for you to remember party 3, 4, and 5. You have a lot of conversations with a lot of people, right? So make certain that you're documenting who's there, especially when it's time to follow up. If 2/3 of those people were unrepresented, you've got 20 clients that you didn't have before you opened that house. I'd probably want to make a pretty good impression by remembering their name and their story. All right, number 2, who can read that for me, please?
Contact everyone who attended the open house as soon as possible. This is your opportunity to note the neighbors, the looky-loos, and the interested buyers to determine what follow-up plans you should use.
What's that look like when, you know, oh, the house was open from 12 to 2, and by 2:30, 3 o'clock, the people that came through have a message from you. Thank you for stopping by. It was a pleasure to have you in the open house. So anything else that I can do to be of service, whether it's this house or another one, please don't hesitate to reach out. Matter of fact, even better, when's a good time to connect? Even better than that, would it be helpful for me to share with you some properties that are similar to this one in the event that you don't get this one? Right?
So
Awesome.
it says contact everyone who attended. The people that you would not contact if are those who express that they have a broker, right? They have
Correct.
an agent. They
You
have
want
an
to
agent.
speak to their agent and thank the agent for having them come through. And if there's anything that you can do to help, so be it. If you're the listing agent. If not, then you're going to pass that information on to the listing agent so that they can do so. Number 3,
The following Monday, call the same people you called when you were circle prospecting the neighborhood before the open house to provide feedback. Offer a market analysis and ask for a referral. Every call must comply with the TCPA and any applicable state telemarketing laws.
There's a agent in our area. He's been the top agent in one of the top agents in the country. His name's Mike McCann, the real estate man, and he says, "Do what you're going to say." I'm sorry, do what you say you're going to do, and say what you do. What I mean by that is, you call people and said, "Hey, I'm going to do an open house." After you've done the open house, you call them and say, "I did the open house. Here were the results." Right? Yes, yes, and yes. All right. Number 4.
I'll do number 4. Add
Thank you.
follow-up plans to every new contact. Make sure you have, gotta move my screen. Make sure you have proper consent if your follow-up plans will include call or text.
Automate it, right? Because although they came through your open house in April, their true heart desire was not to move till September. And unfortunately, they've gone to a bunch of open houses between April and September, and they've long forgotten about you unless you have them on a drip kit or what we call a follow-up plan or a smart plan. You want to stay present. We call that mind share. You want to collect mind share. Is this helpful?
Yes.
All right. So, agent success story, Ashley Force. Ashley's persistent follow-up is what won her client and all the referral business she brought with her. Remember, the fortune is in the follow-up. Look back into Command Smart Plans and see how you can automate your follow-up with open house leads in a TCPA compliant way. Inside of Command, if you search in the library, you will find, I'm sorry, in the Smart Plan library, you will find Ashley Force has left some smart plans for you that you can easily duplicate. You guys ready for some role play? I'm still dedicated to getting you guys out of here early if possible tonight, right? My Sixers are playing, and I really want to get to them. But I won't short you. I promise. I won't leave just for the sake of leaving. I got a DVR'd, so don't worry about that. Jennifer Brown, you got a question?
If you're hosting someone else's open house that you've been asked to help with and you're doing it, do all of the people that come to the open house, is that their leads? Do you give them to them because that you were hosting their open house, or how does that work?
Traditionally, but ask the agent when you're sitting in the open house, and then you get the choice to make it, right? But traditionally, most times, any unrepresented buyer that shows up becomes your lead. That's part of the give and take of sitting in the open house for them, right?
Okay, thank you.
However, I have heard of people saying, "You got that lead from my open house. I want a referral," and that's a conversation that you need to have prior to sitting in the open house. Set the expectation early on.
Okay.
Because if somebody says that to me, I say, "Well, that's an open house I won't be doing." The opportunity in all of this for me is to feed my database with people I've never met before. All right? Good question.
One
Yeah,
last question.
along with that, someone also said about having an agent on each floor. So, like, who does the upper unrepresented buyer goes to if there's an agent on each floor?
That's the conversation once again. You're going to have set that expectation early on. You're going to say, "Hey,
Okay,
we're going to go round robin, right? There's no cherry picking." Or do you say, "Hey, if the person comes in and they're looking from this area, this area, this area, I'll take, east of the river, you take west of the river, and whatever that looks like, you're gonna have a conversation early on so that you can agree on how you're gonna disagree.
Okay,
Right?
cool. Appreciate you. Yes, sir.
Yep, 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 yep. Any other questions?
I saw somebody ask if people can bring pets to the open house, and I actually thought that was a really interesting question.
Uh, I would have that. That's another conversation you're going to have with the listing agent, or if you are the listing agent, you're going to have with the sellers, right?
Because I know in Nashville, somebody gonna bring their pet. You people, they love their pets here in Nashville.
This is true.
Somebody gonna pop up. They go to restaurants with they dogs, they cats, iguanas, everything here in Nashville. So that's why I was asking.
We had somebody come into the store the other day with like a chinchilla or whatever. So, I mean, yeah, to your point, people are always bringing something with them.
So obviously there are rights that are in place around uh service animals, right? Um, so we have to make sure that we're being knowledgeable about that. However, if that's not the case and the seller's asked not to have that, then respect the wishes of the seller, right? That person can come back for a private tour if necessary. Due to the fact that there might be people in the property that are also attending the open house that aren't comfortable with pets, right?
I
Yeah,
had another question, and
sure.
you may have already answered it. I just didn't catch it. And I know that like before you show people houses, you usually have to sign an agreement. If you're setting up a private showing, do you also have to go ahead and have the person sign one of those agreements? Or I remember you also mentioned something about one of the like the short-term showing agreements. Do you have to have those in place before you actually take them back?
Yes, according to the law that was passed a couple summers ago. Yes,
Good to know. Cool.
yes. Okay, so we're gonna role play for the next 10 to 15 minutes. I need four volunteers. Four volunteers.
I volunteer.
Okay. Jonas is one. I need one more person. I'm going to say this. I want you to hear it with all the love and respect that my heart has to share. If we cannot do this here, we will not do it when it matters.
I'll do
I
it.
volunteer. I do. What we doing?
So here's what the role play is. We're following up. We're going to call someone that has attended our open house and have a conversation with them post open house.
I don't see a script.
There's not a script.
Okay.
You know what? I'll go first. Let me go first. You know what? That's totally fair. Great point, Marquisha. All right. So Jonas, you and I are gonna go on this one, all right?
Sounds good.
Okay. I'm calling you.
All right.
Ring, ring, ring.
Hello?
Hey, Jonas, it's Floyd Turner from Keller Williams. You attended my open house at 123 Main Street yesterday. I was just following up to see if I could answer any questions that you might have had on the property.
Hey, Floyd, thanks for calling. Yeah, it was a great open house. Didn't really have any questions in particular. I don't know if we'd mentioned, but we were pretty much just kind of looking around to see what the area had to offer. So, yeah, we're pretty good. But thank you for touching base.
Oh, absolutely. But Jonas, one of the things I did notice is that you had written down that you weren't working with an agent at this time. Is there any reason for that?
Again, like I said, we were just looking, so the thought of working with an agent hasn't really crossed our mind just yet.
Okay. One of the things that I know is that most folks that are willing to come out and look are willing to open an email. Would it make sense for me to put you on a search in order for you to see some of the things that, meet your interest?
I wouldn't be opposed to that, no.
Okay. So the email address I have for you here at Jonas Arp at gmail.com. Is that the best one to send the listings to?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay. Hey, Jonas, just a quick question. In the
Yeah.
event that you did move, right? How soon would you want to be at your next place?
Hmm. Um, I haven't given it much thought, but if we were to move today, I would love to be in a new home as soon as possible. I don't know what the typical time frame for that looks like because I know there's a lot of different things you have to do, but I'd say within a month or a little longer, month and a half maybe.
Okay. So, Jonas, let me ask you this question. If I were able to find you the home that met the criteria that you're looking for at the price that you're comfortable with, you'd be able to move in a month?
Yes.
Okay. So it sounds like you're doing a little bit more than looking, and I don't say that to challenge you. I say it because it sounds like you're a pretty serious buyer if you find the right thing. Am I right in saying that?
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, yeah, again, the looking part was kind of casual, but I think that if we were to find something that we, actually loved and it was up to our standards, then I think we would seriously consider making an actual move.
Okay. Jonas, when you say we, you're speaking about you and your partner. Who could you identify that person? I'm sorry, I don't know that we met.
Yes. She wasn't at the open house, but my wife also wasn't. Yeah, we'd be doing it together. So she didn't
Okay.
want to go though. She didn't feel like coming out, so I went myself.
Okay. So let me ask you this question. Would it make sense for me to meet with you and your wife for 30 minutes and go over the entire process of what it looks like when you do purchase a house so that in the event that the right house does come along, we've got all of our ducks in a row?
I think that would good. I think it would give us some clarity on what actually going into that situation would look like. So I think that we would appreciate that. I have to sit down and talk with her too and see what she says, but I think that that could be something that could be very helpful.
Okay. When is a good time to call back, post that conversation? And then maybe a good idea I could ask now is when would be a good time in your idea to meet? Would Tuesday night be good or Thursday night be better?
Let's go with Thursday night. I think Thursday night would be a bit more convenient.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I have your email address. I'm going to set up a uh, calendar invite. I'm going to send that to you just so that you have it. If we anything needs to change, just please let me know, and we'll you know change accordingly.
That sounds good to me.
All right, Jonas, it was a pleasure talking to you. I'm so glad that you stopped by yesterday.
Of course, Floyd, thank you for having me, and I appreciate you following up with me. I'm looking forward to our conversation here in the future.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. See ya.
Yep, folks, what'd you hear? Thank you, by the way, Jonas.
Yes, sir.
He's ready to move.
See, I didn't really get to hear, so
You set the tone for the conversation.
Yeah, the buyer is motivated to move. And I like that you asked him if he have a partner so that you can make sure that both of them are on the same page and also available to meet, at the same time. So I thought that was really good.
I was gonna say. I really like the thought, even as like you were asking me the question, I noticed this. I liked how you, instead of just being like, when's the next time you're available? You said, when's the next time you're available? Tuesday at this time or Thursday? You gave like a specific time to try and lock that in. And that gave it to where I really only had like those two time frames to work with. Of course, I probably could have said otherwise, but that really had me thinking, okay, he's willing just to work with these two time frames. So it kind of locks them into those two specific points.
Yep, yeah, good observations.
Okay, I'm
So,
gonna play devil advocate here. I felt like you asked too many questions. I mean, I think at some point I probably would have been like, okay, I'm sorry, I gotta go. Because but I will say it's because I was going off of him saying that, off of Jonas saying that he wasn't interested. And I felt like you just kind of pulled it out of him, but he wasn't ready. Because he said
I
he
think
wasn't
just the
ready.
opposite. I think he exposed him to if he found the right property that he'd be willing to move in 30 days. So from someone who says they're not ready to buy, but if they found the right thing, they jump, he was able to target his interest that he really is interested in moving if he found the right property.
That's true. That's true. I still, I'm just saying,
So, Ty-
hearing
Tyrone,
it play out, I'm just saying.
how many times have you walked into a department store and somebody said, "Can I help you?" And what do you say?
No,
No, I'm
thank you.
okay.
No, I'm okay. And then 30 minutes, 40 minutes later, you're walking out with 2 bags worth of stuff.
Yeah,
But you were okay and you were just looking.
right. But I didn't need their help.
Maybe, maybe not, right?
Right.
But but you did want to buy something, and when somebody asked you, you just said, "Oh no, I'm good, just looking." So I'm gonna go
Yeah,
back to the
sometimes,
first
yeah.
thing you said there, right? Was
Hmm.
you would have said, "Okay, that's enough for me,"
Mm.
and I would have let you off the phone.
Okay.
I would have let you off the phone, right?
Okay.
But I would have asked for permission to follow up.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yeah, I
But
like that.
Tyrone, I understand that right now is not a good time for you and that you're truly not interested at this moment. But I know that at some point in time you very well may be interested, and I want to be there to be able to help you. Is it okay if I follow up in the future? I promise not to
Sure.
call you every day and inundate you with a bunch of information, but I will make certain that I am there when the time is right and you have all the information that you need in order to make the right decision for you and your needs.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Have a great night. Thank you so much for taking my call, and I'll be back in touch with you, like I said, down the road.
Thank you, Mr. Turner.
I got a
Yeah.
You
question.
have a good night.
I have a question because my laptop went dead. So this conversation, is this us, the agent that's trying to convince the seller? Are we talking to the seller to convince the seller to let us open the house up for him? Or is
No,
this
this
just
is
a regular?
we've sat the open house. We've got a list of people that were at the open house that we've met, and we're
Okay.
following up with them the next day.
Okay.
Yep,
So
yep.
can we role play like us talking to the seller to do the open house? Can we role play that? Because that's what
Hey
I'm.
Floyd, I got a question for you.
Sure.
There's a part in that conversation that I've had an issue with in terms of that the open house that maybe, I thought Jonas was great. But just responding with, hey, I got to check with my wife. And, that you kind of just touched on it. But just when you have a guy that does have someone else involved in a decision like that and they're not blowing smoke, but that decision is just as important to this other person in their life, or somebody else or something else or a job. I've gotten stuck with that response being catchy, something to like, keep that, kind of what you just said, like, hey, can I reach out to you at a further time? But I didn't know if there was any more sauce, you had for that. You know what I'm saying?
Sure, absolutely do. So let's pick it up right there. Hey, real quick, Marquisha, I'm not ignoring you, but the
No,
person that's
you fine. You fine. You fine. Go
the
ahead.
person that's going to have the conversation with the list or with the seller is going to be the listing agent, right? And that's going to be established early on. So that's going to be a different conversation. I'm not going to jump into that one, but I can share those notes with you later. Andrew, back to what you were saying. So we're gonna role play it right now. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. So Andrew, what I heard you say was that you got to reach out to your wife and make certain that she knows that you're gonna have this conversation with me, basically, right?
Correct.
Well, listen, I got to be honest with you. I don't want to have this conversation just with you. I want to make certain that any decision maker that has voting power, which I'm guessing her voting power might be 2 to 1 on yours, uh, is present in this conversation. What's the best time that the three of us can sit down and have a informed conversation about what's next?
Yeah, she's just had a lot of hesitancies around even starting that conversation. We're at least 30 days out from even being able to possibly make a move. Um,
Yeah, I totally hear that. Would it be offensive if I asked you to reach out to her and then get back to me?
no, it wouldn't be offensive.
So let's do this, right? I'd love for you to reach out to your wife, have that conversation, and sometime this evening I'll follow up to see how that went, just to make certain that we're on the same page. If she says that now's not the right time, I understand that. But I also understand that if you guys are looking to make a move in the next 30 days, then today is probably the right day to start that conversation because just understanding how the calendar works in any of these transactions, um, by the time we find the place, it may be 15 to 30 days from now, right? Before we even sign paperwork. And then we may have another additional 45 to 60 days before we close. So if the clock looks the way that I think it does and the timeline does, then I would imagine that we want to start having the conversation sooner than later. And I'm not going to press you or your wife to make a decision that is not in your best interest. I simply just want to give you all the information so that you can make the informed decision that's going to put you in the place that you and your wife and your family want to be in. Is that
Yeah,
fair?
yeah, I hear you on that. Yeah. Yeah.
So here's what I want you guys to understand. All I'm doing is coming from contribution. I want to contribute to educating and providing the service that these folks need. Tyrone, to your point, if this is not what they need, they're going to tell me, and then I'm going to go buzz off and find somebody else to help.
Yeah.
Yeah, Floyd, I think like it's like speaking to like for me, like the sense of urgency and like response, like we obviously, all of us have, that hunger to obviously get them, as soon as possible to want to do business with you. Um, but yeah, no, I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's understanding their timeline. All right, so what I just realized is I didn't share you guys with the framework in which I look at things. I want to know their motivation and I want to know their timeline. And then I want permission to follow up.
Yeah.
So everything that you hear me saying is based on their motivation, learning their motivation, understanding their timeline, and then just having permission to follow up, whether it's today, tomorrow, or 6 months from now, and every moment in between. Is that helpful?
Mhm.
All right, who else wants to give it a shot? Jennifer Browning, is that your hand up because you want to take a shot at this?
Sure.
All right, so who was my partner just now? That was Jonas. Jonas, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Jonas, you're going to be the agent, and Jennifer, you're going to be the person he's calling
Oh, cool.
to follow up. And then that's the way we're gonna run this for the next, let's call it 15 minutes.
All right. All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Ring, ring.
Good evening.
Hey, Jennifer, this is Jonas with Keller Williams calling. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I saw that you attended the open house the other day on 32 Main Street. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Awesome, awesome. Um, so listen, the reason why I'm calling you back is because usually most of the time when people come into an open house, whether they're looking to buy or whether they're looking to make a move, I was just following up to see if that's something that you were still willing to do.
I appreciate you calling. It was the first time that my husband and I really thought about for the first time because I saw so many of your signs and the house sounded really great that we went and took a look. We really didn't realize that we were a little bit more interested than we thought.
Right.
So I appreciate the follow-up, seeing the house. We were excited about it. Wasn't the exact fit we were looking for, but really we hadn't been looking at this point. But we had a conversation after the open house and are definitely considering the information.
Got it. I love that. I love that. So you mentioned the open house that you came to obviously wasn't the one that you were looking for. Do you mind me asking what the one you're looking for is actually like? Like, what is your desired area, perhaps, maybe? What would I need to find you to match
Okay.
what you're actually looking for?
Our criteria is a little bit, we would like a lot more land. That property only had about an acre. We're looking for about 10.
Mm.
Would like to have a house under a certain amount. This is our retirement home. Going into our retirement home, there's definitely some criteria we definitely want to have. This would be our last buy.
Right.
So there are some things that we definitely are open to.
Okay. Got it. Let me ask you this. Are you currently working with an agent?
We're
I may
not,
or may not have asked you at the open house. You're not.
No, we
Okay.
are not.
Totally got it. So if I were to be able to find you a house that you're looking for within your criteria, would you be willing to make a move?
I'm definitely interested in talking about what we're looking for and what criteria we're looking for. We'd be very open to having someone look to see if we can find that property.
Okay. Okay, good. So let me ask you this. I want to ask for permission. After this call is over, do you mind if I send you a quick invitation? What I would like to do is I'd really like to sit down with you, figure out a little bit more about what you're actually looking for. And then what we can do is we can set up what the actual home buying process would look like. What we do is we'd sit down, we talk about what that process is actually going to look like. So then that way you kind of have a little bit more clarity as to what you're actually getting into before you start making that move. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'd like you to understand exactly what we want in our last home before we go out. So it'd
Absolutely.
be it'd be good to understand each other a little better.
Yeah. What's your calendar looking like for next Wednesday?
We're completely open. We both work till about 5 o'clock if we can do a meeting somewhere after that time.
Awesome, awesome. Now, I did hear you mention, well, actually, no, you already mentioned it, you and your husband. Did you want me to give you a little bit of time to run that by your husband first before we actually go into that? Because obviously I want to make sure that both of you guys are on the same page before I just drag one of you guys into the conversation without making sure it's okay with the other one.
We talked about it after the open house, the excitement of getting a property. We both are on the same page. So we
Cool.
we would not be having a meeting without each other.
Got it. Perfect. So we'd all be there.
Correct.
Cool. So then what I will do then is I will go ahead and send all of that information over. I will go ahead and book the meeting, and I really look forward to seeing you guys there.
Thank you so much for the follow-up.
Absolutely. You take care.
Look forward to meeting you.
All
Bye-bye.
right. See ya. End scene.
That was amazing. I'm not. That was amazing. I like that.
Thank you.
Jonas, what'd you like about it?
Um, Well, Jennifer, I think you made it a little easy for me, so I definitely appreciate that. But like, here's the thing about me getting into like, I'm gonna be honest, going into the conversation, I kind of blanked for a moment. I don't know if you guys can hear me like stuttering at first. I was kind of like mixing my words a little bit. But as the conversation went on, I found myself getting a little bit more comfortable and tried to remind myself kind of the questions that you were asking. I have it written down here, their motivation, their timeline, the permission for the follow-up, right? Even though my dialogue could have, I guess, been a little bit more clean, I think that I managed to sort of navigate my way to each one as the conversation went on.
I'm going to agree with everything you said, with the exception of your conversation having to be, as you said, clean. Here's what I need you to understand. We're human beings. People expect you to say and pause for a second and find your words, right? That's okay. I
Right.
promise you, that's okay. Sometimes too scripted is scary, right?
Because it probably
So,
sounds salesy.
and here's the other part about that is you're going to notice it more than anybody else is. The
Right.
first time you go to a play that you've never seen, you don't know what the folks on stage are supposed to say. So whatever they say is right. Same thing in this. They
Mm,
don't know what you're supposed to say. Just don't lie or be dishonest,
right.
right? So you did a great job. Jennifer, how'd you feel as the consumer?
Um, I didn't want to have a timeline like, oh, you know what? I was more on the basis, and that's honestly the position that I will be in one day is I would rather find what I want than give you a timeline. Not everyone, I don't think, has a timeline. It's no different than I think when people come to an open house. You know what? Sometimes an open house will trigger their thought process of maybe they're downsizing, maybe their house is too small. Most people, unless they're just coming to look, there is a reason why they're at that open house. Maybe it's not tomorrow. Maybe it's not even a year from now. But I think if there is some interest to walk in an open house, I'm willing to be the realtor that will wait until you're ready and continue to work with you on an every month basis to find you what you want when you're ready. I don't want to push you. I think as new realtors, we're all like, get the business, get the business. That's not truly what I want. I want your business when you're ready to make a decision that you're comfortable with And I will bring that to the table when you're ready, but I don't want to force anyone into signing an agreement with me to buy a house if they're not 100% ready to do so.
Let me help everybody with this mindset, right? I hear you because I used to think that way too. You're not going to make anybody move if they don't want to move. There's not a single agent that's good enough to do it. If those people don't want to move, you're not going to move them. You can be the most convincing person with all the swagger in the world and every fact and so forth and so on. You're not moving people out of their homes. You will encourage them to make the decision that's best for them, right? Other thing I heard you say is that I don't necessarily want to worry about a timeline. Here's the thing. The motivation automatically becomes a timeline. If you want a house that fits a criteria, your timeline then becomes when that house becomes available.
Correct.
So if that house comes available and we're not ready to go because now you have to go get a pre-approval and we got to sign paperwork and we've got to do all these things just to get to the starting line and it's already been and the gun's already been shot, we're not going to win.
I guess my spin-off on that, if I was on the other side, would say if I was to find you that house next week because we didn't have the pre-approval letter or we didn't start the process, your dream home might be gone because I didn't prepare you in the way that you should be ready.
Correct. I don't want to rush you through the process. I just want to make certain that the process is easy as we're in it. And preparation allows for that. Because if I can predict it, I can prevent it. Meaning anything that may come up that may screw us up or get in our way. So yes, yes, and yes. Dean Smith, I saw that you have your hand up.
Yeah, and we kind of just hit on it a little bit. So my question was going to be, when do you interject the conversation about signing an exclusive buyer's representation, right? We're talking about going and doing all of this work, and we run the risk of, if we don't broach that conversation soon enough, right, we're going to do a lot of work. We're going to get them information. They can go buy a house that we've let them know about, and we don't have any skin in the game with
And
it.
that's
So,
hence why I want to set that appointment, right? I want to set that appointment and get nose to nose, belly to belly with them so that in that conversation, I can show them my value and say, hey, in order to work together, we have to have this written. There's a law saying that I have to be a proper representation of yours in order to show you properties. We can make this for
Yeah.
6 months. We can make it for a year. We can make it for 1 month. We can make it for a week or even tomorrow. However, I need to have the signs to, cover my tail.
Got it.
Cool. All right, we're gonna do
Yep.
one more. Jennifer, you're going to be the agent, and we
Hey,
need
Floyd, can I ask you a question?
Of course you can.
I just want, I know we're going to do some more just real quick. I just think there's a point in like that, asking the person in the follow-up, would you be willing to move? Is forward in thinking, but it can sound kind of forward, like in thirsty, if you will. Like we want to get the agency agreement signed. Like we have to, you know what I mean? Like we have to like introduce that, I feel like maybe sometimes, because that's like, would you be willing to have me represent you solely in your real estate transactions is something that like, I feel like, how do you interject that maybe in one of your first conversations with, like this would be your second conversation because it's a follow-up, but and one of your first times speaking with someone, like how do you get it in there?
You're showing the value first. You're dropping those what we call presumptive closes. And what that
Right.
means is when we work together, Andrew, this is what I'm going to do for you. As your representative and as we're seeing properties, this is how, right? So that you're already laid the work, right?
Right.
So then it says, hey, I'm committed to working with you after meeting with you, Andrew. I believe that you're somebody that I would love to be able to represent. I hope that you feel the same way about me.
Right.
In order to say, and if they say yes, you go, okay, great. In order for that to be the case, I need for us to go over this paperwork that allows for me to do so legally.
Right.
Right?
Good deal.
I know I could see on some of your faces and I can feel it radiating out of the screen that some people are like, that feels it's part of what we have to do. Right?
Would that be something that being face to face would might be an easier thing to go over after
Oh,
you're
100%.
showing them the value of what you're going to be able to do, how we're going to take this to this level? I think in person might be, I think answering that on the phone would be more difficult than in person, showing your value.
And I want to see your facial expressions as I'm explaining things, right? So that's why I'd even do it on a Zoom call if I had to. I did a lot of that during COVID, right? I had to do a bunch of that. So that's, and people are used to it. So yeah, Andrew, I appreciate that question, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, a tough one, but yeah.
one more. Jennifer, you're going to be the agent. I need one willing consumer.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
Okay.
I'll do it.
Can you help me pronounce your name?
It's Javon.
Oh, okay, Joanne.
Can you hear me well? I'm kind of outside. Can you hear me well?
Got
Yeah,
you
I can
now.
hear you, Javon.
Okay, cool,
Javon,
cool,
right?
cool. Yeah, Javon. Or you call me Jay. It really doesn't matter.
Thank you, Jay. Ring,
Hey,
ring.
how you doing?
Good evening. This is Jennifer Browning from KW. I wanted to follow up. Jay, you went to the open house listed at 123 Pack Street, and I wanted to thank you so much for coming. I also wanted to ask you your opinion on what you liked and didn't like of the house that you were at.
So it was a very nice house. I heard about it via social media. One of my friends had sent it to me. I liked how it was so much space. I liked the backyard space. It was also had 3 floors, which is perfect for me because I have my wife and children. Um, but I kind of like it how because it was a townhouse. I'm leaning more into a single family home. I don't like to be conjoined with others because others tend to not take care of their property. And I don't want their house to catch on fire. Mine's conjoined with them. Mine's catch on fire also. So I'm leaning more to the single family home. But regardless of the fact, that was a very beautiful home.
It sounds like the property itself, the amount of space that it had, sounds like it might fit you and your family. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to meet your wife when you were there. Was she unavailable for there? Or,
Yeah, she was currently at work, and I had the day off. So I was like, why not just go look for an open house?
have you guys been looking at houses with any agent before this, or is this something that was new for you just to pop in?
This is something new just for to pop in. We haven't really talked to no agents lately. So
I
yeah, we
wanted to
just been
follow up
just
and
looking
see if,
around.
oh, I'm so sorry. I wanted to follow up with you and see if I might be of assistance, knowing that the property that you looked at was a good fit spatially, but it was just an attached home. I think that I'd be able to show you some different properties that weren't attached that would help you and your wife have the space that you're looking for. I wanted to see if you would be available, you and your wife, to have a conversation about the area, and about some things that you're looking for in an agent. I'd like to be able to show you my capabilities. Would you be available on Wednesday evening that I could pop over and just have a couple words?
Absolutely. It's always better to have a extra eye to look out for something. So yes, I would definitely be open up to that conversation on Wednesday.
I have your email address that you gave me at the open house. Can I send a meeting request for you so we can set the time up? And if there's any problem with you or your wife being able to make it at the same time, we could always reschedule that. But I'd like to be able to meet with both of you and see what we can find the perfect property for both of you.
Absolutely, I would love that. I would absolutely love that.
Thank you so much for your time. Please check your email and I will be sending that over to you momentarily.
Right. Thank you
It was
so
a
much for
pleasure to
reaching out.
talk to
Also,
you, Jake. Thank you so much.
thank you. You as well. All right.
Jennifer, how'd you feel?
Shaky.
Because
I'm fumbling just a little bit with words. I felt like I stepped on top of him speaking, which I think you should give people a chance to talk, and I don't like doing that.
okay, but you apologized when it happened, right?
Yes.
How many times have you done that? A
First.
role play like that?
Never.
That was the first time?
First time.
That was incredible.
Thank you.
You know what I suggest? You keep doing it.
Right.
You did good,
I
Jennifer.
want people to hear the sincerity. I truly want them to find their dream, and I want to be able to give that to them. And I think that sincerity is something that's my best feature, and I really want people to hear that.
Well, then it will. It'll come through, right? And I promise it'll come through. And then as you get more comfortable and more comfortable with it, you won't think about you won't have to think as hard about what you're saying because it'll roll off your tongue. But the only way that happens is by continuing to do this, right? Role play, role play, role play. And the more you do it, the more comfortable you come in the conversation. And you'll internalize it so that it's yours. The reason why I can have these conversations and not have to blink an eye over them is because I've practiced them and I've practiced them and I've practiced them. And then I got good and then I practiced them and I practiced them and I got to practice them. And then I felt good about it. And then I practiced them and then I practiced, right? And I get to teach them.
Jay was really great as far as being able to help me zone in why I wanted to kind of lead off with the open house of what he did or didn't like to kind of feel where he was at. And he was great at telling me so many details. So I like that.
And there's going to be people that are great, right? So one of the comments that I saw was like, most people are not that nice. You're right. There are a good amount of people that aren't that nice. But when they are, be ready for it. You could absolutely be ready for it, right? If you're just sitting around waiting to challenge somebody because you expect everybody to be challenging, you're not going to have a good go of this. You have to get into a positive mind loop around this. Understanding that there will be some snags in the system, but for the most part, people are nice, right?
I hope so.
I mean, they came to your open house. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, folks. I just want to talk about a couple of things real quick, and then I'm going to get you out of here in the next 10 minutes. Is that all right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Unless something else pressing comes along and we have to dive into it, just know that we will. All right, but here's our open house system review. Day one, we're going to identify a house to hold open. Then we're going to set the date, whether it's Saturday or Sunday. If it's Friday evening, Thursday evening, or whatever day or time we want, that's what we're doing. Day two, we're going to post on the MLS so that the entire world knows and the listing services allow for that to get out there. We're going to create that marketing material. That's either going to be a social post or it's going to be some type of physical distribution. Jonas, your hands up.
Are you sharing your screen?
Oh, wow. I took it down because I wanted to look at something. Thank
No,
you.
you're good. You're good. I didn't know if it was just me, but I just thought I'd ask.
Nope, nope. I appreciate that. Thank you. All right. And I was saying, day one, identify a house, hold the open, set the date. Day two, post it on the MLS, create marketing materials. That's going to be social, or whether it's, you're putting out the flyers that you're going to put on doors for the neighborhood, whatever that looks like. Your marketing materials get made on day two.
What do you mean by posted on the MLS? Isn't that how we find the ones that have the open house?
Inside of your MLS, not all are the same, but there is typically a toggle to say that the house will be open to the public on this day or that day.
Right.
And then that pushes it out to the Zillows and the Trulias and everybody else to let everybody else know that there will be an open house that day.
Okay.
Okay. Day three, invite people. Your sphere of influence, the people that you play pickleball with or curling or whatever that looks like. The listing agent will be the person that puts it out in the MLS because they have control of that listing. Good question, Cass. We're going to circle prospect, meaning we're going to knock on doors. We're going to send out flyers to everybody in the neighborhood, right? And then we're going to partner with vendors. That could be that listing. I'm sorry, that lender, or that could be somebody that's a contractor, right? Maybe the property is one that is a fixer-upper, and you want to have a contractor there to talk to all the things that can be done. Day 4, we're going to post on social media channels. Heavy. Day 5, we're going to put up the directional signs if the local ordinance allows for that. Right? Day 6, we're going to block off that day on our calendar, making certain that we know that that's what we're doing that day. We're going to get there early and we're going to leave after it ends, meaning half an hour or an hour after it ends. We're going to require a sign-in. We're going to adapt to the personalities that are walking through the door. We're going to pay attention. We're going to listen and hear what folks are saying about the property without being cringe. Right, Dominique? And then we're going to stay safe. Right? We're going to stay safe. Number 7 is we're going to put invitees and attendees on a follow-up plan, and we're going to follow up with them. Is that what we just talked about over the last 2 days? Is there anything on there that you missed that we need to go over? Because I'll start from the very beginning. No, I'm just kidding.
What are we gonna do tomorrow?
I will not be here tomorrow.
Oh, this your last day?
This is your last day with me.
Oh. All right.
Who said oh? That was sweet. All right. All right. So that's our system review. Here's some habit builders. As somebody that does this myself, I'd love for you guys to try to adopt this. The time block open house preparation. Listen to the MREA podcast and the One Thing podcast. You can find them on any of your streaming devices or streaming platforms, I should say. This is that point where I look to see if anybody's writing this down. MREA podcast and the One Thing podcast.
Screenshot it.
Got it?
Mm-hmm.
And then, so we're going to do that the morning of, right? And then we're going to identify open house and go through that entire cycle that we just talked about. Cool?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to move on then. Habit builder time block open house preparation looks like this. We have a lead source. I'm sorry, we have 3 lead sources, maybe 4 to 6, right? And they become a contact, they go into command. You're going to tag them. Open house guest, or it might say OH guest, and then maybe the address of the property that you set, right? Create custom fields if you have to, probably should. You're going to put them in the opportunity if it's an immediate deal. If not, they go in a smart plan, right? That's today business versus tomorrow business. And then we're looking at the buyers, send property searches. Any sellers, we're going to send them monthly neighborhood nurtures using smart plans. And then the action we're going to take is reach out to the recently active, and you can see that inside of command. And you're going to call quarterly in a TCPA compliant and friendly way.
The monthly neighborhood plan, is that basically giving them insight to their neighborhood and their home?
Yes, right. So the way that I would look at that is, Jennifer, if you lived in anywhere USA, I would show you what that looks like in your neighborhood in anywhere USA. And if you were moving to somewhere USA, I'd also set up one for that, right?
Okay.
So that you can see what houses are selling for in your area, because that matters to you because you're selling your property. And then you can also see what houses are selling for in the property in the area that you're moving to.
Okay.
Right? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right. So call your sphere to check in and get referrals. How many two-way conversations do you have? I know when we started this, we had a report card that we were using, right? You discover anything relevant to their current or future real estate needs? What felt like a win in your conversations? What challenges do you face? and what ahas came from that. Right? Guys, this is a big part of where the top agents truly thrive in this company or this industry, I should say. They have two-way conversation with people in their sphere and they get referrals. Okay. Somebody said it in the chat, and I agree. You can role play with AI. This is what a prompt might look like, right? What specific role would you like me to play? And that's whether it's the buyer, the seller, the tenant, landlord, prospect. What is your primary objective? It's booking an appointment, securing a listing, handling objections, and closing the deal. Are there specific objections you'd like me to raise during this conversation? Yes. Price, timing, trust, competition, etc. Would you like me to simulate a particular personality type, whether it's difficult, skeptical, indecisive, assertive, analytical, emotional? Any specific challenges you'd like to practice, whether it's reluctance, urgency, fear of market changes, etc. You're going to have the AI address those things, and you're going to do your absolute best to be an objection handler around those things. Does that make sense to you guys, folks? Okay. When the user confirms, begin the role play naturally as the selected character, making the interaction realistic and challenging while aligned to the user's goals. This is an awesome way to do this. My favorite way to do it is with live people, because there's something about that is working with people doing it in person. But when you can't, you don't. So if you can't, you use this. All right. In closing, open houses are one of the best lead generation methods to put you in contact with those actively looking to buy or sell. A great open house happens by utilizing a system. We went through the system. I'm so proud of you guys for all sticking in there, and I hope that this was helpful for you. And I'm going to put my information in the chat. But before we get out of here, I'm going to need somebody to read this, and then I have, I think, one more slide after this one. So, who is the person that wants to read the fastest to get us out of here? Just kidding. Don't read fast. Just read it in a way that everybody can understand it.
Okay, I can read it.
Thank you.
Closing learning application. Find an agent to shadow at an open house to see how a seasoned agent prepares. Scout out your own open house to hold next week and time block for preparation. Begin to build your own flyers, registration sheets, paper or digital, and scorecards. Continue reaching out to the people who know, like, and trust you until you've had at least 10 real estate conversations. Be sure all contacts you reached out to today are in command, even if you didn't get to speak with them. Add tags, tasks, and smart plans to each contact. Make sure you have a proper consent if your smart plans will include calls or texts. Be ready to share your progress report at the beginning of our next session. Number of contacts you added to your database, number of TCPA compliant calls you made, number of real estate conversations you had, real estate follow-up opportunities, challenges, and ahas.
Is there any reason or any purpose that we would dispute any of this?
No, my only question, I put it in the chat earlier. I don't think we answered it. So how do we know, or how do we find where numbers in our contact database are, might be on a do not call list? And I know we talk a lot about the TCPA compliant, but I don't know how to scrub that to make sure who is or who isn't on do not call.
Do not call.com.
You just had to do it one by one?
Yep. That's the way that I've learned how to do it. Check with your folks in your market center. They may have something more crafty that is, beyond my capabilities.
Another question. Say someone came to your open house and just gave you a first or last name or not a phone number. Isn't there, I think at one point you said there was a place that you could look to find their information?
Uh, there's a website called Forewarned that often has that information. So you
Yeah.
could look there. Yeah.
There's another one called Ben Verified, BEEN verified.com.
Folks, one of the reasons why I love doing this because it gives me the opportunity to meet amazing folks like yourselves from around the country. It's truly my pleasure to be able to do this. The only thing that I would ask is that if you could give me a rating based on the experience that you had with me tonight by going through this QR code, just giving your region. It's the name of the class. I'm sorry, the event type was virtual. Course name is Breakthrough 120. And my full name is Floyd Turner. While we're doing that, I'd like to get 3 ahas, and with that, we'll get out of here. Only 2 minutes early. Dominique Bailey, you stayed awake the whole time. She's like, leave me alone, man.
I mean, I don't have anything. I just joined unfortunately, the last 2 days of your
Okay.
of your event. So
So
unfortunately,
what have you learned in those 2 days?
I like the idea of the neighbor only, giving them a special tour an hour before the actual open house for the public. That's something that's definitely like I think is really a really good idea. That's probably the biggest takeaway. All of this just sounds a lot overwhelming. I have not had my orientation yet, so that's next
Oh,
week. Yeah,
okay.
so that's why I said I'm just taking in information. It's a lot.
So what I would do is overwhelm them with how much you've learned.
Right.
I'm just kidding. When you get to the orientation, be like, listen, I can do open house tomorrow.
No, I can't. Don't do that.
Floyd
But
said I could do one tomorrow. Just kidding.
um,
Don't say that. Don't say that.
there is a app that John shared with us that list reports that does like list reports. I forgot the name of the site, but it does shareables, it does open house flyers for you, marketing, it does everything. So yeah,
Okay.
I just have to take what I learned and keep going.
Yes. Listen, here's the thing. I'm going to tell you guys, I was in a similar situation. I think I wasn't even licensed in my state yet when I went to my first class, something like it was the predecessor to this one. And they were talking all these things. I had no idea what they were talking about, but they all make sense now, right? It's okay to be exposed to it because you're going to hear all of this again. It's okay to get to hear a little bit early. It's not going to ruin you. I promise you. All right. So, did everybody that has the capability of doing an evaluation for me do one? It means the world to me. The world.
Done.
Thank you. All right, one more aha, and then we're done. We are done, and done.
I think I was just gonna say I'm actually like writing it in the review right now. Just like the importance of actually putting us to the test with the live role play. Learning how to navigate those conversations and being placed in them. I think after especially like watching you do it too, and then kind of taking that and converting that into, I guess my own thing in a way. That was just really helpful for me because I'm the type of person that learns better when I'm doing hands-on. Like, I could sit down and listen to people talk and like take notes, but like for me to actually make the connection with it and for it to like actually live rent free in my head, I have to like be applying it. So I think the fact that you set that up for us to be able to do that was a huge deal for me. So
Okay, and I want you to keep doing it. I mean, you were good out the gate. You're only going to get better. So I appreciate that.
thank you.
All right, everyone, have a great night. It's been my pleasure to spend this time with you, and I look forward to seeing all your success. Reach out to me if you need anything. Appreciate
Thank you
you.
very much.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
I'm sorry,
Floyd,
Floyd. I didn't
Floyd.
get your contact information.
Okay. I'm gonna repost it in the chat.
It's in the chat.
Oh, wait, I see it. I see it. It's already there. Cool. Got it.
Floyd, I'm doing the evaluation. What's the course name again? I didn't see Breakthrough.
Through
120.
Breakthrough 120.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Floyd, are you on Instagram at all?
Yeah, at TGI Floyd C.
Cool.
Thank you.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
All right, Floyd,
All right.
take care. Thank you.
Take care, folks. Anybody,
Right.
any other questions before I log off? I gotta tell you, Jennifer, James, Torona, you guys were all all-stars, so I appreciate you. Andrew Fleming, you were as well. And we had a few others that probably already jumped off already. So I really appreciate you guys truly playing all in. It means a lot to us. All right.
Thank you so much for the knowledge. It's awesome. Now I got to go buy 40, 50 signs.
Yeah. Borrow them from the market center.
Exactly.
Borrow them from the market center. All
Thank
right,
you.
guys. Good night.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you,
Good night.
Floyd.